Hi, this is Joanne Hewins from lovetocreate.typepad.com. Today we're going to make this card. It is a challenge card that I'm making, and I'm using Mango Melody, Melon Mambo, and Granny Apple Green. So I decided for this challenge that I would use the Lovely You stamp set. This is new in the catalog. New in the Stampin' Up! Catalog. It's on page 22. And this is the stamp set that kind of goes along with the new punch, the Lovely Labels Pick-a-Punch. And we're going to use that today in our card making as well. So you can buy these two as a bundle, or you can buy the stamp set and the punch separately, but you're going to save 10% with the bundle. So let's get started. We are going to have a base of Mango Melody, and this is 5.5 by 8.5. Now I have scored this at 4.25. So we'll go ahead and fold that, and I'm going to use my bone folder to kind of burnish that fold. Okay, the next piece is going to be, well, let me tell you, I've got to work on my measurements. This white piece is 3 3/4 by 5. So this one is just a little bit bigger. If this one is 3 3/4, then this is 3 7/8 this way, and 5 1/8 this way. Now I will have all of the measurements on my blog post, and that will be listed in the credits there for the video. So you should be able to find those. So I wanted to use this stamp from the video, or from the, from the stamp set. I wanted to stamp it, but I wanted to have a pink flower and a green stem and base of the flower. And so I decided I would use the Stamparatus to help me with the stamping. So I'm going to pull everything out of the way, and I'm going to pull in the Stamparatus. And this might be a little bit different way than you are maybe used to seeing someone use it. I find that when I color directly on a stamp, it doesn't always stamp as clearly or as well as just putting it on a pad. So, and I want to color this, and I also want to put it randomly on this piece of paper. So what I did is I put the stamp kind of in the middle of the Stamparatus, and I'm going to move my paper around to get the flower in a different spot each time. So what I'm going to do is kind of figure out where I want the flower to come. So I think I'll start right in there, and I'll put a magnet down so it's going to stay in place. And I'll go ahead and start coloring. These are from the Bright's Stampin' Write markers, and these are okay to color right on the stamp. So this is going to take a little bit of time. So just be patient with me. So we'll color this part with the Mango Melody. Melon Mambo. I want to call that the wrong thing. And then the bottom, I'm going to color with the Granny Apple Green. And one of the reasons I like to use the Stamparatus for something like this is that it's just not always the solid color that I want. So let's see how that came out. That's actually not too bad. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. When I made my first one, I had to color it more than one time. Okay, I'm going to do one like this. Now notice this paper is going to bend a little bit. it's going to be okay. Simply because I'm going to run it through an embossing folder in a moment, okay? And I might have moved this. This may not come out exactly right. So you want to make sure that you don't move your paper around. So let me color this. Now I am using the fat side of my marker. Okay, these markers do come with a fat point and a skinnier point, and you can tell by the thick line and the thinner line which is which, and also by the picture that's here. There's a thicker brush and a thinner brush. Okay, and we'll go ahead and color in down here. Now I don't color on the tip of the brush, I kind of color a little bit on the side of the brush. If you do the tip, it's just going to ruin it a lot easier. And I can see that this is not going to go exactly in the same spot as that. So that's not going to look as good as it could, but we'll just keep on working. So I'm going to want one, I'm going to make sure I don't let it touch this time. I'm going to put one right in there. So I'm going to put my magnet down, and then we'll come back and color in our flower. Now these colors, I'm not a brights person. If you've watched most of my stuff, you'll know that. But these colors really grew on me together. I think it's the orange thrown in because I'm definitely not an orange person. And it's the Mango Melody that I really didn't care for. Okay, so I'm going to change my paper around and push that back in the corner there. I think I'll do that. But the thing about the Stamparatus is that if it didn't print out very well or stamp out pretty well, I can always color again and stamp it down. It's going to stamp in the same space. It's just like a miracle. You might notice that I'm letting some of this run off the paper, and that's just makes things look a little more natural. Okay, I think I'll do one right in here. Now, another thing about the Stamparatus is that sometimes it's a little awkward when you have that going down and you've got an angle. So I just kind of put a piece of, or put a stamp pad under there, and it holds it flatter. And it's just not quite as awkward to do that. Okay. And we're just about done. And I'm kind of coloring all over the stamp here, but the Stamparatus also seems to help with not getting those little edge colorings And I'm going to need something in here. Okay, I think that'll work. Looking for the fat end. Okay, and I think that I'm going to add a few little pieces here and there. So I'm only going to need to color the stem for this one. Maybe something a little bit right in there. Okay, I think I would like a little bit of the flower. So I'm just going to do the top part of this one. No need to do the bottom again. And then I think we need a little bit of something. Maybe right there. And that's, I think, just going to be the flower part. Okay, now let me say again that if I were not going to run this through an embossing folder, that these little bends I wouldn't want that I had to make, but that embossing folder is going to cover that up. Now I'm going to bring in another piece for the inside of my card, and I want something about in there. So let me color everything one more time. And that will be for the inside of the card. And let me move that out of the way. All right, now let me bring in the sample. And we are going to stamp in some of the little orange flowers. And that will just go here and there. See how that's going to look. I'm going to put one right there because there's kind of a splotch there and I want to cover that up. That's what they say about crafters, is we can cover up some of our mistakes. Now I don't know about that flower, it's just going to look that way, but okay, and I just kind of add those where I feel like I need them. And I think that'll be good. And that was with the Mango Melody. And then I'm going to bring in the Melon Mambo and this little stamp and do it here and there. And I'm just tapping that lightly. And I kind of am turning my paper around so that they don't always point in the same direction. Okay, so I kind of like how that looks. So we'll close that up. And we are ready to run it through the embossing machine. Now our sandwich for this will be the platform, and then we will have the embossing folder. This is the new Tasteful Tile embossing folder, so I'm going to put that in. And then the blue platform will go on top. And I'm just going to run that through. I'll be right back. Okay, done. So now you really can't tell that those lines were in there where I moved the paper around. And I'm looking to see, this is the one that I was off just a little bit. I don't really think you can tell too much about that either. It just camouflages a little bit of everything. So let's put our layers together. And I'm really just going to put this layer on top of the Melon Mambo for now. Just going to glue that. All right, and now I'm going to work on the ribbon that goes across there. And for that, I am using the Whisper Write crinkled seam binding. I'm going to cut a piece that's a little bit longer than going across there. And this time I'm going to bring in the Granny Apple Green blend. So this was the Stampin' Write marker, and this is the blend. I'm going to go to the fat end of it. It again has the thick line, the thick brush, thin line, thin brush. I'm going to color with the thick, and this is the dark Granny Apple Green, and I'm just going to color my ribbon. This is my favorite thing. I use it a lot, and I'm just coloring that ribbon. It colors so pretty and so quickly, and it's dry. So I really love that. And I'm going to put this ribbon on here to kind of cover up that spot right there. That's another thing that we do as crafters. And I'm just going to turn this on the back. And I'm going to put a little bit of tape right there. And I want it to go straight across. I didn't leave much of an end. I want it to go straight across. I'm going to lay it on my grid paper and kind of get it so that it matches on both sides. And then we'll put a little bit of tape right there to catch that. All right, now we're also going to make a bow. Now on this one I made a triple bow. I do use a bow maker, and to figure out how much ribbon I need, I just kind of went around. I think I did a little bit wider. Hold on. So I just went around. I don't know if you want to watch me color this enough to make a triple bow, but we'll do it. So I'm going to color it first. It's kind of, I think I have a little bit of glue on my fingers. And I don't know, I'm nervous today. Okay. So that really didn't take that long. And with the bow maker, I'm just going to go around 3 times. Oops. Now Stampin' Up! Does not sell these. One on top of the other and then back around. But I use this all the time. I ordered this online. Just look for bow maker. I think a lot of people sell those. And I just pull it off. Here's my bow. And I'll have to play with it a little bit to get all 3 of those to show. Not too bad. So there's my bow ready to go. And what I'll do is just add it with a glue dot later. So I'm going to set that aside. And let's talk about our sign that we have here, or our label that we have there. This is a 3-inch piece of Granny Apple Green. I am going to use the words cherished friend, and I am going to stamp this, thank goodness, with a Versamark. I was thinking for a minute I didn't have it. So let me stamp that. And I don't know that I'll get this straight. We'll try. You probably can't see it very well anyway, but not too bad. Okay, I'll bring in, ooh, I almost had a major problem there. All right. This is white embossing powder. And then, I'm sorry for the noise, but we're going to go ahead and heat this a little bit. It's going to take a few minutes. So the heat melts the embossing powder. You can kind of see it going there. And that'll do it. Okay, so I'm going to bring in, that kind of warped my paper there a little bit, but that doesn't matter. I'm going to bring in the punch. Now this punch, they say it has 6 different labels. There are 2 different kinds of ends, and then each one has 3 different widths that you can use. And like I said, I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use this one. And I'm just going to push it all the way in. Okay. Now, here's a little tip that I heard someone use. If you want to know how far to, or how big to cut your paper, kind of take this little piece that's come off and lay it on here the way that you want it to look. And then you can take your scissors and just trim right at that space. And then push this in. And it should, I'm going to get it in straight. It should cut that, yeah, about right where you want it. So there's a good little hint about how to get your paper exactly the way you want it. So I'm going to take some dimensionals. Okay, I have those. always afraid I'm going to forget something when I do a video, and it often happens. So, and then this is going to go right in here. And I'm going to go ahead and add a glue dot to my bow. I'm just going to push the center down on a glue dot, pull the glue dot up. There's a little bit that's sticking out, so I'm just going to bend it back on itself. And this is going to go right in here. And we'll trim our ends. Oops. There. And then I added a few of the little flowers. I just felt like it needed a little bit of something. So I've already cut out 2 of those. And we'll cut out a third real quick. Okay, I'm trying to hurry. I'm not doing that great a job. I'm glad I did the other 2 ahead of time. And what I'm going to do is add a little bit of a glue dot to one part, kind of on the side there. And then I'm going to take my dimensionals and just cut those in half. Or you can use the mini dimensionals if you choose. And I'm going to put a dimensional on the other side to hold that up. So what we're going to do is have half of it on the tag and half of it go off of the tag. So I'm going to put this glue dotted part on the tag, and then the dimensional part will stick off. So the glue dot's going to go up on the tag, and then the rest will stick off. Okay, so there we go with that. We'll just add it to the front base. Make sure it's going the right way. And there we go. And then on the inside, we'll finish by stamping this stamp Just Because from Lovely You. And we'll just put that, hopefully that will be pretty straight. Okay, and we'll add that to the inside of the card. I thank you so much for watching me today. I appreciate it. I love to do the little videos and show you just a few things about making cards. I hope that you find them helpful. And my blog post again is lovetocreate.typepad.com. I hope you'll visit it. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I've got probably about 80 videos that I'd love for you to look at and see what you think. So here we go. And this is using the Lovely You stamp set. And I think it's called the Lovely Labels punch. So here's that. And then we use the Stamparatus to help us, and the Tasteful Textiles embossing folder. Thanks again. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.